truce in the tide, a spark in the dark, it glows. Illuminate, illuminate, through the fog, the stars awake. Illuminate, illuminate, the path you seek, the steps you take. Thunder rolls, whispers rise, the deck unfolds, no disguise. Light cracks the veil, it shows. What's unseen now inside? What's unseen now inside? What's unknown now ignite. Illuminate, illuminate, through the fog, the stars awake. Illuminate, illuminate, the path you seek, the steps you take.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. I'm so glad Friday's here. All right, so let's just jump right into things this morning and get started. All right, so your reading for today, we are starting with In Your Present Energy, the Knight of Pentacles. This is a knight on a still horse, and it is representing patience, focus, and let's not start this day again like that. Reliability. The dark, fertile fields stand for the fact that you are in a growing phase, but not quite seeing the results just yet. The pentacle he is holding represents that you are protecting something valuable. Oh my gosh, this is not going to happen again. Whew, okay, you are protecting something valuable, whether it's your stability, your boundaries, your healing, or even your time. The heavy armor shows that you're being cautious, prepared, or even slightly guarded. This is because you are in a season of slow rebuilding. Not flashy, not chaotic, not dramatic, just consistent effort. Life is telling you that it's time that you commit, show up, maintain your discipline, and trust the process, even when nothing feels like it is happening. This is what we call the tarot's hardworking survivor energy. It usually appears after someone has been shattered, betrayed, overwhelmed, or exhausted, and is now putting their life back together brick by brick. A new foundation that's strong this time. You're rebuilding self-worth, routines, and personal stability. You're doing the internal equivalent of sweeping glass off the floor, slowly, carefully, and thoroughly. If you've been dealing with someone who has been inconsistent, you're done tolerating chaos. You're craving slow, steady, genuine effort, not games. It's time to hold yourself to a higher standard and expecting the same in return this time. If you're feeling stagnant, it's not really stagnation, it's foundation. Building, which sometimes feels boring, but is essential. I just realized that I forgot to unmute Rise Radio. They're probably trying to tell me that, but now I have done that. I'm sorry, I forgot. All right, well, you guys missed the first half of that. We are talking about the Knight of Pentacles. I'm going to not go back all the way, but I will continue on. If you are feeling stagnant, it's not really stagnation, it's foundation building, which sometimes feels boring but is essential. It's time to learn that love doesn't chase. Let consistent action speak. You know what? I didn't even start Rise Radio. Wow. Okay. Hold on. Yeah. Let me double check the mixer, make sure we're unmuted. And okay. Now we should be on Awakenings Radio now. I apologize, y'all. I'm it's taking me a while to get used to that radio thing. All right, back to the Knight of Pentacles. If you are feeling stagnant, it's not really stagnation, it's foundation building, which sometimes feels boring but is essential. It's time to learn that love doesn't chase. Let consistent action speak. Don't get swept up by intense chemistry. Look for steadiness. Go at your own pace and don't try to rush intimacy. You're building long term success. Stick to routines. Mastery comes from repetition, and slow progress is still progress. Try some grounding rituals and honor your body's need for slowness. All right, in the challenge position, we have the Two of Wands reversed. When this card is upright, this card stands for expansion, planning, and what's next. However, reversed, it can represent fear, hesitation, self doubt, and staying comfortable instead of stepping out. The man holding the globe, I'll turn it up right now so you can kind of see. The man holding the globe feels overwhelmed. The world looks big, scary, and unpredictable. Your challenge is not trusting your ability to make the right decision. You may be stalling, second guessing, delaying action, waiting for perfect clarity, avoiding risk, or overthinking instead of choosing. This is the classic I want more, but I'm afraid to reach for it card. You could be in a situation where you are not sure whether to let go, move on, reconnect, date again, or stay still because you're afraid of repeating the past and at the same time afraid of missing a new beginning. You could be considering a big change, but fear makes you hesitate. You know in your heart what needs to be done, but emotional courage feels inaccessible. Try making small decisions at first. It will lead to bigger clarity. Stop waiting for guaranteed outcomes because there are no guarantees. At some point, fear tends to disguise itself as being careful. All right, in your subconscious or the foundation of your reading, you have the Ten of Swords reversed. Okay, this is reversed too. Reversed. Ten of Swords reversed. When in the upright, this stands for hitting rock bottom, endings or betrayals. However, when it's reversed, it means you're in recovery. The swords are starting to fall out and the light is returning. Deep down, you're still recovering from a major ending or emotional collapse. Even if you feel okay, your subconscious is still processing the betrayal, disappointment, burnout, and heartbreak. You're hitting emotional exhaustion, being blindsided, or losing trust. This is basically the I've had enough card. And in the subconscious spot, it means you're learning to believe again, but slowly and carefully. If you suffered in silence, you're finally letting the pain bleed out instead of holding it in. And if someone hurt you, you're letting go, but your nervous system hasn't fully caught up. Know that the worst is over, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. Don't rush recovery. Let yourself be a beginner again. The hardest part is to stop predicting future pain from past wounds. You survived the storm. Now it's time to let the sun in again. All right. Good morning, Nikki Lou. In the placement of past influences, you have the Ace of Pentacles. The divine hand is offering a golden pentacle over a garden path. This represents new opportunity, new grounding, and new seeds. You recently had a beginning, a fresh start, a restart in self-worth, a new job, financial path, or a new healing journey. You could also have had a new relationship potential, a new mindset, or have new intentions. Something reset your foundation, whether planned or not. You planted a seed of stability, hope, or self-respect. You decided it's time to take your healing seriously and start valuing yourself more. Maybe you got a new job or a financial boost. You broke away from something toxic and you decided it's time to set better boundaries. It's time to return to your roots, reconnect with what motivated you at the beginning, and keep nurturing the seeds that you planted. All right, in the fifth position, which is conscious goal, you have the devil. You feel chained, tempted, expressing shadow behaviors, unconscious patterns, fear, desire, addiction, intensity, and obsession, and it could be clouding your judgment. But what you don't see is that the chains are loose and they can be removed. Your conscious mind is fixated on a pattern that you're trying to understand, break, or control. This could be caused by attachment wounds, trauma bonds, sexual chemistry, wanting someone who isn't good for you, overthinking, needing reassurance, self-sabotage, fear of abandonment, and staying stuck with what's familiar. You want to break a pattern, you're seeing it clearly, but you're still pulled towards it. You're aware of a toxic connection, but still feel drawn to it. Or you're afraid new love will recreate old pain. You have fear of failure or even a fear of success. Staying is comfortable, but also a draining situation. Yes, Micah, I am now on. I believe I should be on now. I did realize it anyway. Okay. It's time to start facing your shadow, undoing childhood patterns, and naming your fear out loud. Awareness is the first stage of liberation. Don't shame yourself for wanting something familiar. The way out is small, daily choices, not a huge leap. All right, next up, in the near future, we have the star. A woman pours healing water under a massive guiding star. This is a sign of peace, clarity, hope, intuition, and cosmic alignment. You're finally headed into a period of hope, renewal, and spiritual clarity. This is the healing card you've been waiting for. It's the your soul remembers its purpose card. The universe is guiding you card. Expect intuitive downloads, emotional peace, renewed hope, calm confidence, alignment, clarity about your path, and unexpected blessings. You're going to feel lighter, softer, clearer. You see your patterns more clearly, attract healthier connections, and you heal attachment wounds. Inspiration is beginning to return, and you feel purposeful again. This is a deep intuitive awakening. Expect signs, synchronicities, and meaningful dreams. Follow your inspiration, its guidance. Let yourself hope again. Be vulnerable with people you trust and trust the timing of your life. All right. Up next, in the position of self-perception, we have the Nine of Swords. This is a person waking up in a panic, haunted by mental swords, full of anxiety, fear, and overthinking. You see yourself as someone who worries, overthinks, anticipates worst case scenarios, fears repeating trauma, doesn't sleep well, holds everything in, and assumes the burden alone. This is the internal critique card. You're being way harder on yourself than really justifies. If you're trying to heal, you're scared you're not doing it right, but you are. You're terrified of red flags and betrayal, and you may fear letting go of someone you feel because you fear never loving again. Try writing your fears down. Tend to shrink when they're named. Don't make decisions from panic, and remember to give yourself compassion because you're not failing, you're healing. All right. In the eighth position, which is your environment, we have the Eight of Swords. This shows a blindfolded person surrounded by swords, but the blindfold can come off and the prison is actually open. This is perceived restriction, not actual restriction. Your current environment is making you feel trapped, limited, powerless, stuck, and blocked. But this is a mental circumstance. This is mental, circumstantial, or emotional. It's not literal. Sometimes something around you is reinforcing your fear, Whether it's a draining job, a toxic person, someone who confuses you, a lack of support, a living situation stress, or old patterns echoing in new surroundings. Someone is confusing you, and their mixed signals are making you feel stuck. You feel imprisoned even though the exit door is actually open. This may be an environment that triggers old wounds. Remove the blindfold by asking questions or seeking clarity. Don't assume limitation. Change your environment where you can and ask for help. All right, in the position of hopes and fears, we have the Six of Pentacles. The symbolism here is an equal give and take, reciprocity, generosity, balance. You want fairness, equal energy exchange, stable relationships, mutual effort, emotional balance, and partners who meet you halfway. But you fear overgiving, being abused, being the giver again, being taken for granted, and attracting selfish people. This is the I've learned my lesson, but I'm scared of repeating it card. You crave a partner who invests, and you fear being the only one trying. You want fair play and recognition, and you fear being undervalued. You want support, but you fear vulnerability will be exploited. Remember to trust actions, not words. Establish reciprocity early, and don't ever negotiate your self-worth. All right, last but not least, we have in the outcome the Four of Cups. A person sits beneath a tree, arms crossed, contemplating three cups. A fourth cup, which is a new offer, appears, but they're too lost in thought to even notice it. You're entering a period of contemplation, emotional reassessment, withdrawal, dissatisfaction with the old, and uncertainty, and about the new, and uncertainty about the new. This is not depression, it's reflection. You're deciding what you truly want and what you refuse to settle for. A new offer is coming in for you, but you may overlook it at first because you're still processing and potentially still stuck in the past. Be careful if a new interest or opportunity appears because you feel unsure. You might initially reject something good because you're too tired or too cautious. You're growing emotionally selective and you won't accept crumbs anymore. Stay open to unexpected opportunities. Don't reject something before you explore it. Don't isolate yourself too long. Let clarity come naturally. This entire reading is a complete healing cycle. The Ace of Pentacles shows you started with a new foundation. Then comes the Knight of Pentacles, you rebuilding slowly and intentionally. But the Two of Wands reversed shows you're hesitant to choose your next direction. Then Ten of Wands reversed, showing that you are still clearing out old trauma. The Devil shows you're aware of a shadow pattern or attachment pull. Then the Star comes in and shows hope, healing, and alignment arrive. But the Nine of Swords shows that your mind is way too loud, and the Eight of Swords shows that your environment isn't helping either. The Six of Pentacles shows that your heart wants reciprocity, but the Four of Cups says your soul needs rest and reevaluation. You are breaking an old cycle. You are learning discernment. You are healing your foundation, and soon something new will be offered to you. Just don't miss it because you're too weary. This whole reading is a message of recovery, rebirth, and renewal. Okay. Seems like we're talking about a lot of the same stuff lately. There's a reason. Well, we'll get to that. All right. So, our long, extensive homework card for the week. I'm wondering if anybody did their homework last week. This is not going to be a fun one. All right. This week's card is the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands shows a man carrying 10 heavy wands toward a distant village. Every symbol in the card matters. The 10 wands, they're unwieldy, uneven, and too heavy to carry efficiently alone. This is a symbol of burdens, responsibilities, additional weight, taking on too much, trying to do everything alone, burnout, and overwhelm. These represent commitments you've accumulated, some of which may not even be yours. The bent posture of the man shows he's hunched forward because he's exhausted, straining, pushing himself past his limits, and unable to see the road ahead. This symbolizes being so overwhelmed that you can't see the big picture. The distant house in town shows that the goal is close, but the weight makes it feel far. This shows that you're almost there. You're close to completing something. The finish line exists and relief is coming. The yellow sky symbolizes clarity, awareness, awakening, and illumination. Even in struggle, there is alignment. The Ten of Wands is not meaningless suffering. It's purposeful. It's about caring too much, emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. It represents burnout, exhaustion, doing everything alone, taking responsibility for others' feelings, saying yes too often, believing you must handle everything, self-imposed pressure, emotional labor, carrying other people's wounds, perfectionism. Does this all sound familiar? Burdened by expectation and nearing the end of that difficult cycle. This is the I just do it myself card, but I can't anymore. The tarot acknowledges your strength, but also says you don't have to carry all of this alone. Don't tell me to shut up, Mike. The Ten of Wands shows hyper independence. Learn responsibility from childhood. Feeling like your worth comes from being useful. Feeling guilty for resting. Fear of disappointing people. Holding in emotions to avoid being a burden. And pushing yourself because you never learned safe support. Excuse me while I get rid of a troll. All right. Okay. This card often appears after trauma bonds, unstable childhood dynamics, always being the strong one, being emotionally parentified, perfectionist tendencies, and trying to prove your value through effort. It's not your fault. It's a defense mechanism built for survival. This is the wounded healer on the final hill. You're close to the breakthrough. You're close to release. A major cycle is finally ending. The suffering has not been punishment, it's purification. The universe is saying, let go. Drop what is not yours. Your journey is meant to get lighter from here. In love, the Ten of Wands is carrying the emotional weight of the relationship, the pain of the past, responsibility for someone else's healing, fear of abandonment, all the work, suppressed feeling, and unbalanced support. If you're single, you may be holding on to emotional baggage, still carrying an ex's wound, drained from past heartbreak, and missing red flags early because you're too overwhelmed. You need emotional space before letting new love fully in. If you're in a connection, you may be doing too much work, texting first, trying to fix the dynamic, overgiving, carrying the emotional labor, and hoping your effort compensates for their lack. But the card says you can't carry both of your hearts. If you're dealing with somebody emotionally unavailable, you're carrying all the emotional effort. This is not sustainable. If they ghosted, confused you, or were inconsistent, you're carrying the weight of clarity they owe you. In career and finances, this card screams overwork, burnout, long hours, no boundaries, taking on others' responsibility, underpaid effort, and nearing a deadline or major completion. Possible scenarios in this is that you're the go-to person and it's draining you. You're doing 3 people's jobs, you're holding the team together, you're staying late, sacrificing your health, and you're almost at a breakthrough, but too tired to see it. The advice for this card is to delegate, say no, renegotiate responsibilities, take a break. Don't martyr yourself for a job. If this card comes up regarding healing and self-work interpretation, the Ten of Wands appears when you're carrying past pain, guilt, shame, emotional labor for others, expectations, perfectionism, survival mode habits, and responsibilities you accepted as a coping mechanism. This is the card of the overloaded healer. The advice: put down the burdens that were never yours to carry in the first place. Stop trying to save people who don't save themselves. Process your trauma gently. Don't rush to be strong. Rest is part of the healing. You can drop at least 3 of those wands right now. The 10 of Wands is the final push before manifestation, clarity, rebirth, and breakthrough. You're almost at the finish line, but you're too tired to even see it. The universe says you are not weak, you're overloaded. Release what isn't your destiny to carry. On the shadow side of the 10 of Wands, martyr is considered martyrdom, control issues, refusing help, addictions to being needed, defining yourself by struggle, avoiding vulnerability, taking responsibility for others' emotions, and staying in cycles because they're too familiar. I'm going to cry during this, okay? Trying to keep it together. This is the if I don't do it, no one will energy. But on the light side of the 10 of Wands is perseverance, discipline, dedication, completing that cycle, strength, resilience, determination, and finishing what you started. This card honors your endurance, but asks you to ease the load. Here's some Lunaria advice. Put down what is not yours. If you're carrying someone else's emotions, trauma, or responsibility, just stop. For example, if they're inconsistent and you're trying to make the relationship feel stable, stop. This card says let them carry their own wands. Stop saying yes when your soul is screaming no. People pleasing is draining your life. Third, share the load, accept it. Allowed to rest before you break. You don't earn rest by collapsing, you earn it by existing. Your worth is not measured by your productivity. Stop proving your value. Drop the extra commitments you resent. You do not have to carry the whole world. 10 of Wands could be or could represent another person. If this card represents someone else, know that they are overwhelmed, emotionally unavailable, and all those things we discussed. This means they don't have the capacity to show up right now. Whew. A heavy cycle is ending. You're about to reach the clearing. Expect some relief, completion, closure, breakthroughs, a lighter path, and clarity about what's truly worth carrying. Because after the 10 of Wands comes the Page of Wands, a fresh new beginning, free of baggage. This cycle is ending, not restarting. Final message: you're strong, but you shouldn't have to be this strong alone. You are near completion, near relief, near clarity, and near a lighter phase of life. Put down the burdens that are breaking your back. Your next chapter requires open hands and full arms. Ooh, hi, Tony. Thank you. That was heavy. That was real heavy. And I know a lot of you felt it. I know I definitely felt it heavily. Which leads me to our discussion of the day. Y'all let me know if you want a oracle card. Yeah, that did pretty much fit the Scorpio new moon. You're correct. I'm so thankful Mercury retrograde is coming to an end. And all right, so I don't want to talk about the same shit every week. I don't want to have the same reading come out every week. However, there's a reason that it has come out every week and why it continues to come out every week. Because I'm not listening to it, for one. And you guys need to hear it too. Because I'm not the only person who does these things. I'm not the only person who's been in this pattern of the cycle of trying to fix everyone else's emotional problems for so long. You can't fix it. You definitely can't fix it if they don't recognize it or won't admit to it. Especially, they can't heal until they want to. Same goes for you. You can't heal until you want to. You can't heal until you do the work. If you're with someone who's damaged from their childhood traumas, you recognize them because you have them yourself. They're in you. You're mirroring each other. You see their pain and you feel their pain, especially if you're empathic and especially if you're intuitive. Then you feel it triple-fold. But when you finally realize that you have to fix yourself and love yourself, you can finally let them go. Because it becomes very clear that you have not wanted to heal yourself up to this point, and they still don't even recognize that they need healing. You didn't either at one point. It took you time to figure that out. It's gonna take them time to figure it out. And if they don't recognize it even yet, they're not gonna start to accept it. And once they accept it, then they have to decide to fix it. And then when they decide to fix it, then they have to figure out how. And once they figure out how, they have to go through the process. Are you going to sit through all that? Because think how long it took you. Literally your whole life, almost. Or years since you figured out that you even had any wounds to deal with. They're not going to heal themselves. And they're still going to have to go through all this pain that you've been going through for the past few months or whatever, years. That pain that they're avoiding right now. Who would want to admit to having wounds to deal with, knowing that they had to go through the pain? They're going to fight it off. You fought it off. I know who would want to. I know I would now. I know a lot of you would. I know once you go through it and can release it and can start to love yourself and realize you were never the problem. They're never going to find a perfect person because they have to love themselves first. They have to fix what's wrong with them or what they're dealing with to ever get to the point where they can finally meet somebody and be in a relationship that's loving and equal. That's what you deserve. You've fought for it for long enough. I know you feel for their pain and what you know they're going to have to go through if they ever get there, that's not your burden to carry. You've already gone through the pain. Yes, I'm listening to myself, Nikki Lou. That's why I'm crying. They have to get there. It took you a long time to get there. You can't fix them. What you can do and what you can do that's best for them, definitely best for you, is to let it go. Fully, deeply, in your heart of hearts, in your mind of minds, in your soul of souls. Let it and them go. Move on. Love you. And when you love you, it'll be your time to find somebody who can love you the way you love yourself, and you can love them because they love themselves. That person, don't send them hatred, don't send them bad wishes, don't do any of that. Send them love. Send them your heart. Send them all the well wishes and the good vibes that you can, because you know what they still have to go through. And because you actually love them, you're actually an empathic person who actually does care. That's all you're going to want them to have, is your love. Let them feel your arms wrap around them and tell them it will be okay. One day, it will be okay. Because now that you let that go without any bitterness or anger or hatred or anything else, now that you've let that go, that's all they're going to feel from you. It's time. Wow, that was heavy. Oddly enough, as I shuffled the oracle cards in the Sword of Light card deck this morning, and you guys know this always happens though, the card that came out for the week is, this is a blessing in disguise. Things do not always turn out the way you expect or think you want them to. There are many times in the human existence when the divine has brighter, more joyful ideas than you could ever imagine. It is only from a big picture viewpoint that you would be able to understand why things need to be the way they are. You must have faith in the process. Perhaps you really want a particular job. Perhaps someone else is chosen for the position. Then in time, you find another career path that is better aligned with your life purpose than the one you had previously thought you wanted. You are currently in or about to experience a situation that feels like a disappointment, but rest assured you will recognize it as a blessing in disguise with the passing of just a little more time. Consider this message a heads up so you can maximize any initial unhappiness and instead trust that something wonderful is just around the corner. Don't hold on to your expected outcome so tightly that you don't see what result might be even better. This is the kind of situation where your guardian angels excel. Yes, of course, we archangels are here too, and I'm always ready to help sever energetic ties to the emotional burden of dashed hopes. However, often the tweaking of your plans or the reworking of your expectation comes with guardians from heaven who are watching over you every moment of every day of your life. Sometimes the divine steps in for you. And although it feels like a bad situation and it does create pain, sometimes it's the best thing that could have ever happened to you in life. I'm not going to offer any other oracle readings today. Sorry, because that just all blended too well. And I want to share a couple of new shows real quick. I want to, do I have it? Let me see. I want to see if I have the picture of Tiff. Let me see. He showed me how to do this morning. Oh, yeah, we do. Okay, so coming in December, we have a new show called Riff with Tiff. You're going to get to meet Tiff this coming Monday. She will be on The Messengers with Micah and I. And you are going to absolutely love her. Her show is, I forget exactly, it's the first Saturday in December. I can't remember what the date is. Why do people always want to make noise during the show? And it will be at, I believe, 10 a.m. on Saturdays, Eastern time. All right. And I'm very excited about that. Y'all are going to absolutely love her. She is so much fun, and she fits in so well with all of us. All right. One other new show coming up. The Core starts, December 4th, I believe, at 11 a.m. on Thursdays. This is going to be a really cool, unique show that you guys, I don't think, we talked about it. We don't think there's another one like it. What we're going to do is different. This is Reverend Diane, Micah, and I. And like I said, Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Each one of us is going to pull a card separately from our decks. And you guys already know that Mike and I do our readings separately. We never discuss them before the show, but they always seem to come out very similar. This show's going to be the three of us, each pulling a card prior to the show, and then coming together, and one of us will start and talk about our card. We have to switch every week. So one of us is going to take our card and be like, all right, explain it in detail, kind of like I do with it a little more detail than, just the quick readings that we have to do on the messengers. We'll kind of explain it more in detail. And then the next person that comes up is going to have to do their card and explain the meaning and explain how they relate to one another and how they relate in our life situation. And then the third person's going to have to add to that and do the same. We're calling it the Core because it stands for Collective Oracle Reading Evolution. I thought it was. Anyway, Evolution. So it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. I don't know if you guys seen the three of us together before, but we kind of have a pretty good time. So I think you're going to like it. And it's going to be exciting, and I cannot wait. And I don't know if I know how to pull this back off. Oh, yeah, you have to go in here and hide it. I was just going to sit behind it for the rest of the time here and not. Anyway, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Do not forget that tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern time, I believe it's 6 p.m. Eastern time, we have Voices on the Rise with Miss Hathery. And tonight, I'm so excited. It's going to be Nikki Lou and Robin together, husband and wife duo. And we're going to talk a little bit about their music and hear some stuff from them. And if you've not heard them sing together before, you need to, because it is absolutely gorgeous. All right, that is all my loves for today, I believe. Bindle and I will see you Monday on the Messengers. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And don't forget to do your work this week. Because believe me, it feels good when you start to realize that you're working pretty hard and you're getting there. Love you guys so much. I'll see you next week.
What's unseen now inside? What's unknown?
Hey, this is Brindle Wolf.
And I'm Lunaria.
You're listening to Rise Awakenings, part of the Rise Radio Network where advice meets action.
We're here to spark your growth, lift your spirit, and help you crush your potential.
Rise awakening, hear the call. Through the static, we break the wall. Your station, your voice, where dreams awaken in life. Rise awakening, now is the time.
Rise Awakenings, let's rise together.